Hello, and welcome to our webinar today on how to build a great student profile on LinkedIn. My name is Katie Woolman. I'm the Director of Career and Professional Development at Lenoir-Rhyne University. I will be sharing tips from LinkedIn using this handout, and I will also go back and forth between this flyer and my own LinkedIn profile so that you can see how to make some of the changes or include some of the information that is recommended on the flyer. So let's get started. The reason that this LinkedIn information and building a great profile that's effective and tells your story well is more important now than it ever has been. LinkedIn has been very popular in years past as a great networking tool. Human resources folks often tell me that they use LinkedIn very effectively to find talent. And of course, now that we are operating in a mainly virtual and online platform, LinkedIn is now more important than ever in a super competitive job market. The first step to building a great student profile is to write an informative profile headline. Your headline is like your job title. For a lot of students and a lot of job seekers, you may not have a current job title. So you have a real opportunity here in your headline to emphasize some of your strengths and make it clear to your reader what you are looking for. So for instance, one of the great tips that I heard just this week was to use the word aspiring in your headline. So for instance, aspiring professional writer seeks opportunity in the Denver, Colorado area. That can be your headline. You can get creative. If you have some noteworthy experiences from the past, a great internship, having been a student athlete, having studied abroad, you could also include those items in your headline. So again, think outside the box, think a little creatively, and think about what a catching headline could be for you to not only describe you, but to describe what it is that you're seeking. The second tip is pick an appropriate photo. This is certainly important in this online platform and this virtual world we are in. I see a lot of photos on LinkedIn that make the candidate appear less than professional. So there is someone else in the picture, or it's not a professional look. And you don't have to showcase a personality style that you don't have. So you can certainly include your personality in your photo. Just make sure that it's more like a headshot, so shoulders and above. It's focused on you, and that it's a good representation of what you look like. And I think a smile goes a long way as well. The third tip is to show off your education. That will be easy for our new graduates to do. Include your major, where you went to school, definitely emphasizing study abroad programs. If you have a GPA over a 3.0, that's a great thing to list. And then you can include your academic accolades on your education section. Your LinkedIn profile overall can be thought of as a live resume. You can include your resume for sure, but the information provided is very similar to what your employers would want to see on your resume, and the information should be consistent among and in between your resume and your LinkedIn profile. Fourth tip for you, develop a professional summary. So I'll show you mine. It is it's not targeted to a specific job title. I'm not in an active job search right now. So for me right now, it's a little broad, but it fits me very well. And it can give someone a snapshot of who you are. I've heard it described as a mini cover letter. I've also heard it described as a 30-second commercial type of message. So it should be short and sweet and help your reader understand who you are in a nutshell. I see a lot of profiles that don't have this section filled out, and I think that is not taking advantage of the opportunity to share a little bit of your story. Tip 5, Fill in the skills and expertise areas with keywords. So keywords are words that are especially important to your career field, or to the type of job that you are seeking or the career field that you're trying to enter. And this is something that recruiters look for. They can search these areas, especially skill sets. So I encourage you to think outside the box, not only your major and any work that you've had, but think about on-campus involvements. Were you a treasurer of a club or your sorority? Then that should be a skill set that you tout on LinkedIn. And if you're having trouble finding keywords and phrases that are appropriate for you, you can definitely look at job listings, job postings for keywords, and also identify profiles of people who have the types of jobs that you want to have, and consider their profiles as inspiration for your own. We do want to make sure that we're being really honest here, so we don't want to list any skills or areas of knowledge that we don't have. So we want to be really careful about that, but we also want to be very confident and clear in communicating what skills and experiences we have had. Tip 6, update your status regularly. So posting updates definitely helps you stay top of mind with your network. And one of the easiest things to do is to mention something that you've recently read, or a nugget that you've recently learned from a webinar that you have experienced. Share that knowledge with your network. And I encourage job seekers to post weekly, encouraging you to post something relevant so that your mentors and your networking connections can see that you are a contributor in the field. So we don't just want to post things that we might post on Facebook, updates about your dog or your dinner that you cooked that was really delicious. Again, this is a professional networking site, and so keep it to the professional realm, and that will really help you stay top of mind with your connections. Tip 7, show your connectedness. So one of the coolest things about LinkedIn that most students that I talk with don't know about is the feature of joining groups. So let me show you how to find that. If you go over here to this work section, and I'll tell you that your LinkedIn may look a little different than mine. Sometimes I've seen different looking profiles, so it might take you a couple clicks to find this. But you can find the groups button here. And these are all the groups that I'm involved in, and that it makes sense that they're mostly related to career development work or local organizations, local groups of certain types of professionals, or national groups of certain types of professionals. And these have been invaluable to me over the years in order to stay on top of trends and job openings and connections over my career. And I've found the involvement to be extremely beneficial to doing the best job that I can, but especially when I've been in job search mode, having access to these groups is fabulous. So for instance, looking at our Lenoir-Rhyne University alumni group, as you can see, I recently posted a job that was open for that group. So it's a great way to find out about opportunities, connect with folks that you might have had relationships with in the past, folks you want to stay in touch with in the future. And that is a fabulous thing to do, not only for you to gain information, but then the folks that view your profile will see what groups you're a part of, and that's going to paint you as a professional as well. If you don't know where to get started with groups, definitely starting with Lenoir-Rhyne, our alumni group, and any industry groups that might relate to your major or the types of careers that you're interested in. Tip 8. Collect diverse recommendations. Another feature that I love about LinkedIn is that people can write recommendations for you and they can appear on your profile. You can write recommendations for others. In fact, when I first got started with LinkedIn, I would always feel more comfortable offering to give a recommendation when I asked for one. So I asked for recommendations from my supervisors, from my professors. So you're usually asking for people to recommend you who have supervised or taught you in some sort of way. And this is a great thing for recruiters to be able to see. Collecting recommendations can be very time consuming for a recruiter. And so if they can already see some of your recommendations from a variety of different people who've worked with you, that's really going to be a huge selling point. Tip number 9 is one of my favorite tips to share with students, and that is to claim your unique URL. When we first set up our LinkedIn profile, we are automatically given a URL. This is our website, essentially, on LinkedIn. When we're first assigned our URL, and if you already have a LinkedIn profile, go take a look at yours, you'll see that your name is up there and some random numbers too. So that doesn't look necessarily concise to be able to put into a resume or put into your email signature, which we would suggest you do with your LinkedIn profile URL. So you can come over here to this section, Edit Public Profile and URL, click on it, and here you go. Anytime you see a pencil on LinkedIn is where you can edit. And start with some version of your name. It's likely that somebody else in LinkedIn universe has your name, so you might have to play around a little bit until you find a combination that's not already taken. But this is a great thing to do in order to create this concise URL so that, like I say, it looks really good and professional on your resume, on your email signature, and any other place like a business card that you might want to put your contact information for people to be able to connect with you and follow up. So that's really important. Last tip, share your work. Most of the clients that I work with have a really hard time articulating their strengths. They're very humble. It's an admirable quality to have. However, when you're in a job search, it's important that you understand your story, you own your story, and you're able to tell that story. And showing examples of what you're capable of is a really great way to tell your story. So, and illustrate your skill sets. So think about things that you've turned in recently, or a blog post that you wrote, or a paper that was well received, or a presentation that you did that was really good, or even an event that you put on with an extracurricular involvement, and be able to put that on LinkedIn to show your future employer what they can get if they were to hire you. So we encourage you in the Career Center to really take your LinkedIn profile as an opportunity to be proud of yourself, be proud of your accomplishments, tell the world what you have to offer. And another thing that I would recommend is that you connect with as many people as possible on LinkedIn, starting with your professors, starting with your classmates, people that you already know. In a webinar that I just attended this week, there was a statistic given, which I've heard similar statistics in the past. Currently, the data shows that 80% of people get their next opportunity through their network. So especially now when you may not be able to physically interact with your network, virtually connecting is more important than ever. If you would like more help with your LinkedIn profile, I'm happy to help you in the Career Center, and we can take a look at your profile together. We can brainstorm what your headline should be if you're having trouble with that, and essentially go through and do an audit of your LinkedIn profile. So if we can help you with that, definitely let us know. And we're happy to help you feel confident about sharing your story and help you connect to the next great opportunity. So definitely reach out to us in the Career Center if we can help you with this process in any kind of way. Best of luck job hunting.